Welcome back, Starfleet crew. In today's episode recap, we're diving into Strange New World Season 3, Episode 3, Shuttle to Kenfori. And this one packs a phaser blast of emotion, conflict, and high-stakes diplomacy. Captain Pike and Dr. M'Benga set off on a desperate mission to find a rare flower that could save Batel's life. But the journey takes a dangerous turn when they cross paths with Ambassador Ra's daughter, hell-bent on revenge and a blood feud that threatens to derail everything. Meanwhile, aboard the Enterprise, Ortegas makes a bold and possibly reckless call that defies orders and risks reigniting tensions with the Klingons. Two timelines, one shuttle, and decisions that could change the course of the quadrant. Let's break it all down right here, right now. Oh yeah, Shuttle to Kenfori. What's going on?
Oh my goodness. So, Shuttle to Kenfori, not at all what I expected. um, so they're going to this place that's supposed to be basically a no-fly zone for either the Federation or the Klingons. Is what I'm getting. And Captain Pike, his true form lately, just seems to be breaking all the rules. So I don't know if you were asking me to get off into the title or if we were diving right in. But oh my goodness. Yes, but can Kenfori just be in this area that is supposed to be off limits to the Klingons or the Federation. And there's so much going on in this particular episode. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it because it gave me a little, and now by no means have completely watched The Walking Dead, but I kind of have a bit of the premise. So you got some Walking Dead slash Last of Us going on. You have insubordination all the way around. You have some medical, not malpractice, but some unethical things going on with that. Breach of privacy. What is it? HIPAA laws. I guess that just doesn't apply in outer space. Um, so there's so much jam packed revenge, you name it, and then not in the way that you expected it. Like that caught me off guard. But anyway, I'm sure you have some particular questions, but I will say just right off the bat, I enjoyed this episode. I really did.
Yeah, I want to say, like, at one point, I was just like, what's the what's the plot of this episode?
There was a lot going on.
There really was, but they seem to like weave it all together. All right, so Captain Batel is still sick from the Gorn. There's a flower found in the Kenfori system, in Klingon territory, or disputed Klingon territory, that Pike has decided he will command a shuttle to find. The flower is said to be a long shot at saving Batel's life. What do you think is the premise of this particular episode?
There was so much going on. But ultimately, I feel like the premise of this is it going to be love or is it going to be duty?
Mm,
Like, because they seem to be blurring those lines repeatedly throughout the course of this show.
mm.
And I don't hate it. So it adds to help move the storyline along. And there's so many conflicting things, or juxtaposed to use a more um, beautiful term like you do. Um, but yeah, so I think it's will it be duty or will it be love? Because at this point he's not married to Batil yet, but he loves her, he's very loyal to her, and you're willing to risk it all, go against the Federation, put others in harm's way at the potential of saving her.
Mm, mm. Okay. All right. So let's move real quick. So, and Binga never gets caught. All right. So this was something that was said by Pike, right? And so I'm thinking to myself, what get caught at doing what exactly? Play up for the Himalayas? Like, what's going on? And,
Been married 3 times.
okay.
He said he been married 3 times, and then Pipe was like 4. He's like, that was an annulment. Like, mind your business. We don't count that one.
But like once we find out like what he was talking about, I guess my and being never gets caught it made me say, what richness in character development have they given the Doctor? So, like in that one little statement, what are they basically saying about Mbinga?
I'm like, okay, and Bingo, how many quests have you been on? How many times have you been captured by these wives or otherwise? Or marriages, all unsuccessful.
He's never been caught. He's
You've
never been
never been
caught.
caught. Never been caught, but you have been captured.
Okay, okay, that's true. That's true. That's true. All right, so so I'm gonna skip ahead and then go back. All right, so Pike learns the flower might make Batel a human Gorn hybrid. What psychological reasoning does he have a leg to stand on when he disagrees with this course of action? So he and Bingo are going back and forth, and he disagrees with what they plan to do with Batel. So what psychological leg does he stand on when it comes to what's happening with Batel?
Honestly, Pike wants to have it 100% his way. It's already a damn situation. So I guess for him, but psychologically, it would be like basically the enemy that you guys have not been able to defeat would be staring you in the face every day. And this is your loved one. So I guess for him, that would just be too much. Like, that's a lot. Now your future wife is part Gorn to have to deal with that every day. So I can understand his reservations for sure. So are we eventually going to have to put her down?
Mm.
There are just a lot of potential ways in which this could just go horribly.
Yes, 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 yes. I agree. I agree with you 100%. Was he acting out of a place of love or out of duty?
With not wanting her to become this hybrid,
Mm-hmm.
um, perhaps a little bit of both. But I would say more love because again, if the end result is the Gorn side takes over, you're gonna have to put her down.
Mm-hmm. 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 All right, so let's take a little detour. So I was watching this particular episode and I was saying to myself, "Oh my God, look at all these different hairstyles." So let's talk. Okay, so we always talk about Pike and his hairstyle. Any thoughts about Pike's hairstyles today or hairstyle today?
No, I didn't really catch it with Pike. I mean, well, he's notorious for having this awesome hair.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't notice his hair as much as, of course, I noticed Uhura's.
So let's talk
So
about
yeah, they keep playing with her and her hair. I didn't hate it. It was better than that horrible wig that was like a low cut that they had that one episode.
it. Mm-hmm.
Didn't care for that much. And she was rocking the curly hair. Didn't
Mm-hmm.
hate that, but yeah, there's been some transformations going on with
Mm-hmm.
her hair that were quite noticeable.
Mm-hmm. Actually, I liked her hair. I liked her hair in this particular episode. I don't know if they're gonna keep it, but it gets us closer to what we're used to when it comes to Uhura. So I don't know if you noticed, but Mbinga's hair has changed as well. Did you notice his hair had changed?
I have not noticed.
Yeah, it's like little. I don't even know what you call it, but like
More,
little, huh?
the kind of like it looks like it's twisted, but kind of like coiled in a
Yeah,
particular way.
yeah, just kind of slightly, like not a whole lot, just a little bit. I don't know. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Now let's talk about number one's hair. Did you notice her hair in this particular?
Oh, I'm mad that I noticed it, but it was so much going on that I just and I'm like petty if nothing else. And so I'm like, they done gave her this Afrocentric braided crown. I'm like, okay, queen, okay, okay, sis. Yes, that was an extreme, and I'm
Yeah.
mad that I didn't catch it until you said something because I'm seeing it, but then you have these flesh eating zombies and all this other stuff going on. So like I couldn't focus on it, but it was definitely noticeable. I'm like, come on, now, we braiding everybody up this episode.
Okay, let's move back. So earlier we were talking about Mbinga and Pike. So let's talk about their relationship, Mbinga and Pike. Was it expected and is it believable? If so, why or why not?
So, Mbinga and Pike's relationship being their friendship, is it
Mm-hmm.
believable?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Honestly, I think it is. I would have liked to see a little more of that relationship like
Develop.
developed, I guess, on screen. But you know, again, not having a ton of background knowledge on the show, perhaps I just missed it. No.
You did not.
But it to me it was believable simply because clearly it's implied that they've been around each other for a very long time and have been through a many a battle. So it was very believable. You're going off into Conforti. You don't know exactly what's waiting there, but you take a moment to have a conversation and reminisce and speak about the cigars you had and all these other things. So you really were watching two homeboys hanging out. So to me it was believable. Again, I still am giving Pike the side eye.
What
Not
for?
whenever he let Doc Rock
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
come up there and made them come to that dinner. And
Mm-hmm.
Pike, you break every Federation rule when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to saving your little piece of booty. You break all the rules for her, but you would mess with somebody's psyche when you want to follow the rules. And so, no wonder you have Ortega's being insubordinate and doing all these things. It's like, Pike, you don't always lead by example the best. But that's a whole nother thing. That kind of pissed me off. The situation with Erica.
So I want to move ahead in the story just a little bit. There wasn't like a whole lot to like ask you. I was gonna read this, but I kind of like made this for three people. Presumably, you and Corey would have had like a whole lot to discuss. Um, so that was gonna be like my little entry. But anyway, I don't know if you caught this. I don't think that you've watched many of the movies. But the music, there was some music that was played in the background, and it was very reminiscent to Star Trek, The Undiscovered Country. I doubt that you heard it, but for those people who love Star Trek, you heard it and you were like, "What?" Like it, like that was kind of like a little Easter egg, if you will. Anyway, let's move. um,
I'll catch it like 5 years from now when I'm all caught up on everything. I'll
uh,
circle back around to it. You remember that time we covered Shuttle to Kenfori and you mentioned the music? I got it
all
down.
right, so the Klingons chase Pike and Mbinga, and right when Mbinga is captured, the camera pans to Mbinga and gives him a close up. I don't know if you remember that. Considering what we know about Mbinga, what were you assuming was going to happen shortly after Mbinga's capture? Do you remember that close up? She made him like kneel on the ground. She meaning
So
Ra's daughter,
this is before she revealed who she was.
right?
I'm not entirely certain.
Well,
Um,
when he knelt down, it was kind of like all attention was on him because it was like we know who this man is, we know what we know what he's capable of, and now he has a Klingon again in front of him. What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? So that like in my mind, I was ready for a fight. I knew a fight was gonna happen. Okay. So anyway, the zombies attack, killing a Klingon, and you mentioned it very early on in the intro. You basically said that the scene reminded you of The Walking Dead, and what's that other show?
The Last of Us.
The Last of Us. In what ways did this particular episode remind you of that?
Oh my goodness. First of all, whoever is acting as these zombies crushed it. Let's
Okay.
start there. You have I mean, I couldn't ask for better zombies. They were just non-stop. I mean, I'm not afraid of horror movies or anything, but I was kind of scared. I was like, what is gonna happen? And so I didn't see it coming. So the whole build up to it, they've gotten to Confor. It's like, oh, there's all flora, no fauna here, and then the zombies pop out. It was amazing to see play out on screen. It's like, man, maybe The Last of Us could take a lesson on how to incorporate this. I mean, it was amazing.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. Good. All right. So Spock mind melds with Batel to ease her pain until Spock nearly kills the black nurse. First,
is,
that's a fine black man. I just want to say that.
is that a Horus family member? Because then they call him Ensign.
Well, he's an ensign, but family member, no.
Man, he. Whew.
But did you catch that mean mug he gave Spock? Did you catch that?
I didn't catch it. I
You
have
didn't
to
catch
go back and watch it. After he
so,
knocked his ass out.
so first, I don't know if he pushes him or punches him, but he flies across the room, and then he ain't do nothing to Batel. But Chapel is only concerned about Batel, right? She's only concerned about Batel, and then later she goes to old boy.
I
But
just
he ain't
got
say
her.
nothing. He ain't say nothing at all. Like, but he mean bugged his ass.
I had to get my lick back, Spock. I love you, and to me, Spock can do no wrong. And you know what? I still blame Pike for this because the only reason why we going this hard is because this is your Bonnie Lace. So all of this is still Pike's fault.
Okay. All right. In the captain's ready room, the bridge crew devise a plan to get Pike in 4 hours, but Ortega's doesn't like that time frame. Number one thinks Ortega's plan of warping into a low orbit of the planet's atmosphere is reckless and overrules Ortega's. Pike and Mbinga try to get communications up, but it is on the roof. Mbinga learns that genetically modified crops were mutated humanoids into these zombies. Pike connects the dots and reacts quite emotionally. Given what we know of Pike, did this moment connect?
Did this moment connect as it pertains to Battelle?
Correct.
It did. Um, which prompted because he kept fishing for answers. Like he had a sixth sense. Okay, something is kind of off. Like you guys aren't telling me everything. But ultimately, I mean, Battelle already had made her decision, and so I think the dots kind of connected in that moment. The more that they kept digging, um, or he kept digging anyway, fishing for answers is what I'm trying to say. Um, I guess just like I say, his spidey senses were up, so he kept asking more questions. I feel like I'm not answering the question the right way, but
Well, so for me, I'm not quite certain that it actually did connect. I mean, I understood the emotion, but I guess because I didn't like necessarily see them fall in love. I saw them say that they were spending more time together, but I didn't see them fall in love. And so for him to react in the way that he reacted, it was kind of like, okay, okay, all right, I get it. But you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't see loving, touching moments between the two.
like to say that he's an A character, you get way more with the Chapel and Spock um
Love affair.
love triangle, than you do from them. So I can understand why you would feel that way.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So with the zombie swarm on their heels, Pike and Mbinga hide, but is captured again by the Klingons, but are trapped by the zombies. They learn the Klingons are actually after M'Benga. Ambassador Ra's daughter is there to capture and kill M'Benga. This is part of the Klingon blood feud. Ortegas sabotages the plan and forces number one to choose her option. Okay. M'Benga confesses he killed Ambassador Ra on purpose. This is a dark admission by a Starfleet officer. Is this a realistic portrayal of military situations? Is this a realistic portrayal of military situations?
From my limited knowledge base about the military, I'm gonna say no. Like define a direct order. First of all, going off on this mission in the first place. You know, if home base or you getting your marching orders from above and what Pike is doing going on this side mission, I don't think that's very realistic to begin with. And so Ortega's defying her superior in front of everyone. You know, I don't think that's very realistic. I feel like there would have been grave consequences for kind of pulling that kind of move and just going on this side mission on your own. So I don't know that that's very realistic.
So, M'Benga, when he confesses that a Klingon gave him an opportunity to kill him, and he killed him, when he admitted that did that change your outlook on M'Benga? Because remember, in that particular episode, we didn't really get to see what happened, right? We had to make some assumptions, but when he admitted what he admitted, did that change your outlook or your opinion of M'Benga?
Absolutely not. If anything, it probably made me fall in love with Mbenga even more because that's he keeps referencing this monster, but I don't think there's anything more human. Then you naturally want to retaliate. If anything, showing lots of restraint is difficult for humans to do. It really is. So no, that made me love Mbenga even more.
Okay, all right. So M'Benga unleashes a can of whip ass on Ra's daughter. I'm curious. I'm curious. Can can you can can two equally skilled halves live so harmoniously inside one person? A doctor, no less.
First of all, he gave bite to the business. She was hanging in there, but you asked for this fight, so I just want to say that. But um, I do believe that you can be a walking, talking, breathing axiom. You can be dichotomous. That all the same things to say. You can have a Gemini-like nature, two faces, and literally exist with both things, and just even personally, I have more than one hat, more than one face, and so, you know, kind and sweet, and I can be a scorpion. It just depends on what is required at the time. And so 100%, I'm loving it. I'm here for it. It just makes him all the more attractive as a character.
Okay. So Pike decides not to turn M'Benga in. What does this say about Pike?
I am just still not all that impressed. Again, I'm not angry with him anymore. I'm gonna say because okay, like you bend the rules to your will when it suits your own selfish and personal interests. So you having loyalty to the person who has been loyal to you and is risking their life to save your beloved is not making me want to be like, yeah, Spike. I mean, Pike. Thank you for not telling on Mbenga when he shouldn't have been in there in the first place. So I'm not gonna give you any glory for saying, "Hey, I'm not gonna drop a dime on you" when I'm out here because I'm helping you.
So to me, what it says about Pike is that he'll put friendship above duty. He cares about the man more than he cares about his job. And that says a lot about a commanding officer. Like an order might have been given, and that order might be retreat, retreat, retreat. But you have a man that's down behind enemy lines. No, we're going to get that man. That's what that's what I learned about Pike in that particular moment. All right. So in Deep Space Nine, this was like more of a Corey question. But in Deep Space Nine, we saw how dark Starfleet can be during war. In Strange New Worlds, we're seeing the after effects of war and how dark it is. You can speak specifically to the after effects of war in Strange New Worlds. Is it working?
Is what working specifically?
The darkness. So in Star Trek in general, yes, we see some tense moments, but eventually we see the light. We see the good that comes of it. But so far this season, we're seeing a lot of dark things that are happening in the aftermath of the Klingon War. And so my question is it working?
I would say yes, because out of darkness, you know, you begin to develop different things. And specifically, I'll use Mbinga and Shako. They're developing medicine, things that hadn't really even been thought of out of necessity. So, whereas you've had all these dark things happening, more advancements are happening because of necessity. So, I think several good things, honestly, are coming out of it. And you're
So
forcing a lot of your crew to kind of, I guess, lean on each other, and we saw that in previous episodes as well,
mhm, mhm, mhm. So part of what I loved about Deep Space Nine, Deep Space Nine had like fully developed characters. Unlike Star Trek: The Next Generation, even though Star Trek: The Next Generation is kind of like the staple when it comes to Star Trek, in my opinion. But Deep Space Nine, the reason why I love it so much is because all of its characters, every last one of its characters, even some of the B characters, had like a rich character development. Okay, and we're seeing this in Strange New Worlds. And what they're attempting to do is like, no, there's no war, there's no conflict that we're necessarily seeing ongoing conflict outside of the Gorn. And let's be real, the Gorn, that was like what, two, three, 4 episodes max. But what we're seeing is like those psychological after effects, like kind of like PTSD type stuff, the trauma after war. In Deep Space Nine, we saw what was happening to people in the moment, the decisions that they had to make, those dark decisions that ran counter to who and what Starfleet and the Federation were. They made those deals that were like nasty, dirty. And here we're seeing after the war, we're seeing a whole lot of things that happen after war is over with. How does this impact people? How, what I'm saying? Like in the case of Ortega's, like she still has this hatred that whether it's conscious or some subconscious, it's there, right? And she's making decisions that could actually hurt her career. And like we're seeing that play itself out. We're also seeing it with Battelle, like her health, right? And what is it that Starfleet is willing to do for her, right? And then we're also seeing it with respect to Mbinga, right? And the psychological toll that it is taking on him as a doctor. So to me, it's working. It's working. And it's like I didn't realize that connection until recently. Deep Space Nine, what's going on during war, Strange New Worlds, what's happening after. And so I think it's working.
Thank you for framing that for me, because when you mentioned PTSD, that was actually one of the things that I wanted to mention with Ortega's, but not just her. So when you frame it that way, it's like, okay, wait, I get it now. Like I may not have the prior knowledge for Deep Space Nine, but everything makes perfect sense when you frame it that way because, you know, there are several things that are going on with the members of Starfleet on the back of war. So thank you for that.
That was actually my last question. But before the rest of you go, you got to rate this particular episode on a scale of Mayfair to 10. How would you rank this particular episode?
I am going to learn how to shut my mouth. But I mean, no, I'm not. Who am I kidding? No, I'm not. Um, from Mayfair to 10, this episode would probably be an 8 for me. It would probably be an 8 for me. There was so much going on. And I did like the plot twist to where I was not expecting Doc Ross' daughter to want revenge for the reason she wanted it. That I was not expecting that. So yeah, this is about an 8 for me. I enjoyed it.
So for me, I'm going to give it a 7, and I'll tell you why I'll give it a 7. Those I'm going to say you had a plot and you had two subplots. In my mind, the plot and the two subplots could have all three been plots all by themselves. And yes, they wove it together and they wove it together nicely. But each of them, in my mind, deserved its own spot. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have loved to have seen all of those three things play itself out. Ortega's making the decision that she did, like that was bold.
Very ballsy.
How often do we see that in Star Trek, unless that person has been taken over by something or somebody, or you know what I'm saying? Like we don't see that too often. So I thought it was worthy. All three plots slash subplots deserved their own episode. That's all I'm saying. That's why I gave it a 7. I loved it. The acting, as always, is on point. Even the pacing was good. I thought it was just why all
If
one
they could have
episode.
spread it out, yeah, they could have
Mhm.
spread it out. Agreed, agreed. Um, but again, with your knowledge base, if you're giving it a 7 and I'm at an 8, I feel pretty good about my rating. I do, I do.
All right. Is there anything about the episode that you want to talk about before we go?
I think that was pretty much it. It's just I'm interested to see how things are gonna continue to develop for Ortega's and where she's gonna go from here. Again, I'm still one of those people. I would probably never really do this in real life, but it's just looking like with leadership, all of this is wrong. So you're gonna penalize her when y'all should have never been going here in the first place. But whatever, that's just me. I'm gonna let it go. But yes, amazing episode. Always, always a joy to watch.
All right, y'all. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share on all your social media. Until next time, y'all have a great one.